Let's take a few minutes here, and I want to show you, in case nobody's ever showed you before, how to look up a journal article at our library and read it. I'll have some more comments about reading journal articles built in the class, but for now let's just answer that question of where do I go to find good articles about my topic? All right. Since you're an NAU student, you have access to the Klein Library, and that's the place to start. Google Scholar has some good stuff these days. You can try that and look things up on Google Scholar, but I would go to the Klein Library. You're probably going to get access to more full-text articles that way. Google Scholar, it's hit or miss. You'll get an abstract, you'll see the title and know what it's about. But you may not have a link that you could actually open up and read the entire thing. So I'm going to just type in NAU in my search box, Klein, and there it is, NAU Klein Library. That'll take us to that library's homepage, actually, the search. And I'm going to go to AZ Databases. That's not Arizona, that's A2Z. Hope you can read everything on my computer here. Let me enlarge that text a little bit. Okay, now I want to look up database types. Actually, let's go to one called Academic Search Complete. And looks like my screen here is minimized or maximized, and you can't see all the words up there. So there we go. All right, Academic Search Complete. I'll click there. And now we get a list. I'm going to type in my phrase, in this case, channel discrepancies. And I'm going to put the word nonverbal in along with it, since that's a specific technical term that comes from the world of nonverbal communication. And, let's just do the search now and see what I find here. Because it's going to search all of these journals. Verbal versus nonverbal primacy. Well, that looks interesting. Not quite the same. So it's featuring nonverbal here. Now it's only given me 5 articles. That's not very good. And so I want to choose my databases. And I'm in Academic Search Complete. Let's take that off and let's go down to, look at that. Communication and Mass Media Complete. I'm going to check that one. Where else? ERIC isn't a bad place to look. A lot of dissertations get published in ERIC, and you don't find them many other places. The Soc Index. This should pull up studies from sociology, psychology, social psychology. And I'm going to pick 2 more, since so many psychologists study nonverbal communication. They probably have got at least half of the publications we've got, and a humanities index, and I'll skip that one. All right, now I'll click OK, and let's search channel discrepancies. Let's just take the word nonverbal out, try to get very specific here, and let's see what we find. And okay, gender discrepancies, television channels. Let's take out discrepancies. Sometimes you got to tweak your words here a little bit. Channel discrepancy. Because I want TV out there. That's coming from that mass media, but I don't get the other communication literature without that. Okay. Channel discrepancy on norm internalization, preaching and practicing, effects of. All right, that looks like a homiletics article. Rate analysis, channel, okay. I'm just going to look down the list here and see what we find. Nothing's jumping out at me. I haven't done this before I started the camera. All right, look, channel consistency. That sounds like the same thing. And inconsistency in the communications of married couples. This is from the Journal of Personality and Social Psych. That's going to be a good peer-reviewed journal. And PDF full text, that's what I want. And let's take a look at this study and see what we've got. All right, there it is. If I want to save this to my computer, I can just click download here, give it a title, and pick my folder and put it there. All right, let me cancel the save for now. And okay, from Queensland, Australia. Married couples were videotaped. Oh, this sounds like actually a pretty good study. And channel inconsistency, discrepancies between the verbal and nonverbal components of a message or between the various nonverbal channels. That's what we're looking at. You know, this looks like a good article to read. We won't take time to read it here, but somewhere in here you'll find something helpful. Often right here in this early section where they talk about research findings by other people. Now I'm going to scroll down, and when I read an article like this, especially a an article using statistical analysis, I'm not very good at statistical analysis. I did get an A in statistics at Arizona State University, so I'm familiar with a lot of the terms, but actually setting up research design, every time I tried to do that, my professors in grad school just ripped my work to shreds, and it's the only class I ever got a B in. Maybe I got a B in another class, but never mind. So we look here, what I do is I read the introduction, because this is usually written in a pretty straightforward way, and they set up what the problem is that they're going to study. They look at what other people have found out about it already, and that helps them focus in on a narrow, specific aspect of the topic that they can look at. And so here we get to a thesis statement finally. You probably can't read that here, but this article examines the encoding of married couples from 3 marital adjustment groups in an interaction situation. The idea was to examine different relationships between channels, particularly differences in the occurrence of discrepancies related to marital adjustment level and sex. Yeah, I've got to put and sex in there to get everybody's interest in the whole article, but they may mean gender. Okay, and then I like to kind of look at the methods section next and see what they did. That's just always interesting to me. You can skip the methods section if you just want to get to the heart of what they discovered, because they're going to describe their method and they're going to describe their statistics and how they scored things, but then you get to the results. And this is where you can probably dig in and do some more reading. What did they find? And if it's a little confusing, I'd keep skimming down through their results and look for a section at the end called discussion. There it is. This is where they get away from all the numbers and all the stats, and they just tell you the heart of what they found and what they think it means. And that's just about almost 2 pages long here. Okay, when you cite an article that you've looked up, you'll probably take a quote out of their discussion section at the end. What did they find? You can also probably find that same quote right up there in the abstract. This is where they spill the beans. Here's what we did, here's what we found. And here's the short version for people that don't have time to read the whole article but need to know if they want to read the whole article. Well, that's what abstracts are for. So get down here to that discussion section, and then the final thing you can look at is, I found this article, took me a few minutes. I wonder if there's some other articles that are like this that I can look at. Well, look right here, reference list, and look at this. They've got probably a full page of references in fine print. Looks like about 30 of them here, and you can just read down that list, look at these titles, and good journal articles don't mess around and tease you with the title. They tell you what the article's about. Look at these titles, see what the articles are about, and you'll probably find 1 or 2 more that are right up your alley. Then you look at those, you'll probably find 1 or 2 more in each of their lists that are right up your alley. And if you keep looking, if you're doing a pretty large study on your own, what you'll find is you'll see names that are repeating. Names like, I thought I just saw one here. Bateson, yes, he's one of the big-time researchers in nonverbal stuff. And Bateson will say something pretty elementary that you need to cite also. Now, Depending on your assignment, some assignments I may ask you to just cite 1 or 2 articles. Other assignments, yeah, we may want 4 or 5 or 10, or do a meta-analysis and cite all the ones you can find. That's when you really want to get deep into your topic. So look at these reference lists. Don't leave them out of your reading. Skim down through them at least. Look for names you're starting to recognize. Look at the article titles. All of these are peer-reviewed and suitable for citation in any college class. All right, so that's how I do my research when I first dive into a topic. Eventually you get to the hard reading part if you're doing a master's thesis or some project of some sort. But for just doing a class paper where you may need a few citations, you can actually get to them pretty quickly. And yeah, Google Scholar, when you start really digging into things, you can go to Google Scholar. But this is the tried and true method to get at the best stuff. You'll find all kinds of things from all over the world on Google Scholar, and you don't have the choice of narrowing down that list of fields you're looking in when you do your search. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope this short video has helped. You have a good day.